You are watching Revelations, the biggest spiritual platform. My name is Maame Grace, and it's going to be another serious episode. We are going to reveal some mysteries here. And today my guest is one of our own. In fact, Mama introducing why. I don't know what I should call you. Welcome to Revelations anyway. Please introduce yourself to our beautiful viewers.
Lord Acham Rebakam, founder and spiritual leader, Spiritual Science Society Africa. I'm a spiritual scientist, numerologist, geomancer, business mystic, and then a teacher.
And a teacher?
Spiritual teacher.
Spiritual teacher?
Yes, please.
Spiritual young professor me engine would you what do you have an teacher? Until I'm going to teach you.
I saw phone beer.
Huh?
In Cremofoi beer. And him the phone in him and him the perform you should him dear. On 1 year, dear.
So spirituality is real?
Yes. A man's school is School of Spiritual and Esoteric Sciences. And I've been operating it for the past 8 years. Yes.
People do young focus say and abrofuno are busy or more building engines near the AT and yes spirituality is abrofuno more spirituality.
Spirituality there baby a genasenia. Spirituality will be any more genasenia would nipa no. Who spirituality fa obo who say spirituality asun so munim de enko banyane sa. Spirituality in fact soon what is spirituality? Spirituality simply means the individual spiritual, mental, and then what the physical connection to the divine. So it involves all the aspects of the individual and not just the spirits, but also even mental development involves spirituality. Even physical development is also what within spirituality. So when we talk about spirituality, it involves the total liberation of the individual self and not just alienate yourself to only the spiritual part, leaving your mental development and your material development.
Okay, and yeah, Nyama Bebreba okay we nyina we be chire one because we want to know you. We want to know who you are. So who are you? Okay,
I am by name Lord Acham Rebakam. That's my initiatic name. I am the spiritual leader of Spiritual Science Society Africa. I started this path so many years back. I would say I was very young when I started. But my path has always been a path of always seeking for what everybody do not want to pursue. To me, since my childhood, I've always been against the majority.
The way I catch you fine, no, bro, for now I can go for better than you.
The be person me den me kotia nya nipa den ehu den to be adwen say we na enokare no be adwen say den na wa hanti obi akwa mahwa ehu say den na wo we mu a mu nya information nya den enko ho da. So since my childhood you always see me reading books, always a kick books, say science book 1948 1800, so you always have me what using those books. So everybody was like, why do you always want to have books which are always out of date? Or knowing that was my path. I always wanted to have things which are always beyond or always outside what everybody upholds. So everybody was reading the Bible. I was like, why should everybody read the Bible? Anyways, I come from a very huge spiritual background. My mom was a prophetess, my dad was a pastor. And here's the case, I've been born from such background, here I am today. And today, even before my daddy's final days here, he came to appreciate what I am. My mom today knows what I do. I still don't have any problem. But what I can say is, my path has always been a path of investigating, experimenting to prove. I'm not a person who will just wake up to believe anything I'm told. And this is how my path started. So it started along the line, through it all, from Christianity, which is Assemblies of God, from Christianity to Islam, under one of my spiritual teachers, Malam Swala, who just passed away like 2015. And then from Islam to African spirituality, where I actually took initiation, yes. Under one Togbi Kwabena in Suhum. I am a Suhum guy from Togbi Kwabena. Within the under the Cree deity, that was so many years back. Then I came into Ekanka in Koforidua. I was the youth organizer for the year 2010 to 2014. Yes, I took initiation in Ekanka. From Ekanka, I came into Sugagakai, which is SGI. Sugagakai International, which is Buddhism. I took initiation over there for Suhum. I was also the youth organizer for my point during those years whilst I was there. From there, I came into Reincarnation, which is Hinduism. I took initiation within Hinduism. And then to my lodges, that is with TSS, with Cosmovedic Science Society, with Spiritual Science Society, which I am today, with Theological Science Society. Yes, I've been to several places.
You've been to several places?
Yes.
Nina, is it that now you're satisfied at one place until now and I say
I wouldn't say I wasn't satisfied. But my person always want to have a first-hand experience. Okay, let's say I captivate it, I capitalize it on soul travel and astral projection. Buddhism do not do that. So what do? If you want people to capitalize on more in India, or more practice or fully over there, they are the people you need to go to. Who follow paths? You won't say each and every spiritual path be our part of the path from here. Oh, free mo. Or focus here then. Two person in India called that part. So I realized, okay, with African spirituality, it is more about nature. With Hinduism, it is more about developing the individual self. With Buddhism, it is more about actually connecting to nature, but not with the spiritual self, but becoming useful within the material. So Hinduism will tell you to alienate the material. Buddhism will tell you to what? Embrace the material. Okay, so what is the difference? So in all the path, you realize that focus here. So in your full picture, you need to also go through all these paths to actually have the better picture of the whole thing. Then so because okay, me one side, no more explore. So this is how I actually went through it all.
And I feel you're better than a teacher.
Yes, please. Because whatever I learned over there, I never threw them away. Some can say, "Me active can come and you know, in mission on my head, my twatching." No, I still practice them. Whatever I learned all those years, I still do them till today.
Okay, give me one thing you hate and one thing you love about all this practice that you went through. Start from Christianity.
Okay, with Christianity, this is what I would say. I don't think I hate Christians that much. But what I can say is, Christianity is that path which has been gate-kept by those who do not really want to learn. Those who are actually topping the path, or leaders, they are really ready to learn. But one more gatekeepers of the path, and that's the secret. Who the common person who more now and say bonsamo baby, but who penina no I'm a living example. They come to my office every day, all through my life, make us some teachings, and so for Panabameho. They come, they learn. But you the ordinary person who more than a gatekeeper. Where you born some way, say, but your child say, born some, let's take Islam. Islam, per se, have a tincture of protective or defensive system, which is about, mostly of the path of Islam. No? It became more entangled in what? In rivalry, any battles. So realize some system now require more of keeping their followers on their toes. Then I want to Rebecca say Muslims are very what? Are very provocative and also very what? Agitative because a channel mobile than F. When you see on system now see I'll be doing says I don't know once you delve deeper realize no, this is a system which have been integrated into it just to prepare all of them for what? For a flight. Because during those days, normally you don't share into Kobebre. So some of members be arguing they are ready for battle. Let's come to Buddhism. Buddhism also tries to actually make life meaningful. And not say what you then if you are brabo. Buddhism better say I was so did the needed in ye. I was so juma ye, a sikana pa, preni united, I was as so. Now, a hana then what chance to actually leave it all. So Buddhists will never tell you to actually take out certain aspect of your life unless you renounce it. We a monk and I a lama. Oda lamazri, I can say monastery, now because we then alienate. But Buddhism always tries to make you what useful to society. For society, Buddhism makes you what useful. Then I will be to my idea, that is the Buddhistic principle. But once you enter into Hinduism, you also find one principle over here: forgoing the material. Although that's one aspect of it, forgoing the material, and then becoming more and what engrossed in one kasaway then with development, and developing that your individual self to be able to attain what samadhi or liberation. Oba Ekanka is all about being able to actually help your individual soul or self to actually translate, move out of the body in and out, and be able to experience the other worlds. And depending upon what you want to do, you can use that experience to then either use to help yourself now, in the present or in the spiritual life. To be sure, be on a path, to be on your head, or trade a womb. So me who now want to say the black man or the human is the source of all problems. Obeka sada na meka sa asem, yetaka se Christosum wasem, Hinduism wasem, ba we obi akọ paths ni yabe won say nipa ha ye ba akọpe. How na yete hu say den e wo Buddhism no. and how I tell you Christianity no sanka o ko so fufu manka mo so how na nwa na no na wa dipa no fi ha no no ko ha the other thing now for Western Buddhism don't practice differently from us. Let's be real. Over Christianity I want for the Western and also different over Islam the same thing. Over Buddhism the same thing. Add the internal African practice of all these paths no you inquire the your version of it.
Why?
Because our mindset is the major problem.
Our
mindset we have used our mindset to what? We have migrated our mindset into everything we do. It's your mindset near the could be BMU. That it be a some biano, yet the adrenaline way into the operate. That is the problem with us. So once I went into all these paths, then I came to realization, say, no, for me to blame a religion, let me ask myself, what are the other people practicing the same religion doing now? Then I realized, said, African have a problem with mindsets. And where did the mindset come from? What that problem if you then addressing it from then, we actually come to understand something. This is what I've been able to do. This is the path of enlightenment. To me personally, now me na me African spirituality. I was say akwawe on payasem. Me a staunch African spiritual or practitioner. Yes, me a staunch on the bia sana wo ye na bia na me yesen. Me a staunch one but me tena na me ka emu nsema enya. Obedwen sa de na me ka emfa ho. Once I know said this is what is not right na me den meka. And no nkyere say me ka ho bi ntina ma me nya den. Enka. I practice esoteric Christianity. Obeka say Christianity nyamuni eno ye nyawunim but within Christianity you have two aspects, exoteric and esoteric Christianity. The esoteric Christianity are the initiatic Christianity, which is the order of Melchizedek. I work Christianity mo and unim. So okay Hebrew chapter 5. I shall remain a priest after the order of Melchizedek. What say by no saying in some wo but unim ni animal say break and loose. And no nya yechre wo but in some wo. Anyways, kakra mekane. Da
be in some na won bobo to say unim yasum ya ye there ayedete ya.
Enti no ni mekane say with our yempa afneti ye no. All these paths and so you realize one thing say or so many nyinam ewu munchichemu even class oba efie mpo na efie mu no anabusua mu no ye munchichemu decision bi wa ye ogere ne okunu na eden efa decision bi won so your bank na eden efa decision bi abema nkwa na eden efa eto ne eden a saa awofo mienu omye mpanfo ofie omo so mo mpanfo bi omo so mo eden omo kom na ase the same way with every religion be answer on the system eden a chain of order. And now, what can Bible now within the Exodus? No, Israel for building tent, no building tabernacle. No, yechemu the outer courts, the holy the holies, and then what the holy of holies. Yechemu which is the outer, the inner, and the innermost circle. Oba religion be a sanity. Oba Islam ya one year then ya on church the mother common people. You on church the mother initiated people, and you on church the mother inner circle people. Oba a Christianity the same thing. Oba Buddhism the same thing. Oba Hinduism the same thing. Oba African spirituality mun krampo na the same thing. So once obeti ase pe won nienti a nipa bi ye ne oye wo som ni mu. Ani nienti a nipa bi ono so mo so ye den enye ne we so ye den. Eye no.
Obi ane ba bi ogina.
Sa na tie.
Yo, enti maybe sa we na ya to aso. Wo se wo ye wo teach. Wo ye lecturer for occult. Say you can occult. What is occult?
Okay. Me da say impempi yatati sansem we be won say impemfu akwadare mu onimdie mu krampo bi okra ne doctorate this common word krampo na ohwa o mesupply na me hwe ne di na mente ase occult ebrofo kasa occult means to conceal that which is veiled, hidden, that which is a mystery. So I always say occult, hidden, mystery they all mean the same thing. Occult, hidden, mystery, they all mean the same word. They are all the same word. To conceal, to hide. You can say something which is hidden, it's occult. You say something which is occultic, that means it is hidden. You say something which is a mystery, it is still what? Hidden or occultic. Now these three words, though meaning the same or being synonymous, about the occult practice, you still then you won't teach you now. Come from me, bro, for near 3. Oba occult system ni mumpona. Said I make us an in mumpona, then in munchimo than a peno, and no crampo, the essence of the munchichemo. Nemo ya occultism and pimping that could see a year in a year being church being in dear beer. A beer yang nim dear money the yentiasia, but me nim dear Miss Remy Bisa. Only who can answer no ye da. And ye be a beja petimon and wafana, and now this year. And ye be a farm on your bonnet. And your bonnet. Now now this year, a chess and yaw and who here so being so yet and fan who better than even who be. Into your practice of occultism. na den tin ye te say ye de bibia sia na ye dwen say ye bone nti o yire na na ne dai na ye bone ada na de sie ye ada na onante wo na abonten onwura wo nyina na ye den onfa nam ba wo sha atare e da esan say do wo hu bia ye den esie enwu hia so bi hu bi so at that point you practice occultism because you are hiding what an aspect of yourself from people. You are observing privacy and also chere say ye bone ada na de bia ye bete say bibia hinta pe na ye dwen say ye bone nti na hinta enso wankasa wo abra bomu kra bibi wo kra nimdie bi wo kra wo ti ma mpese obi be den ebe hu bi nti eye adwen ya chinchima da akoto bibi den ye chima to nti na ma ye hu ne den etesa na mom ye ka occultism eye ade bi ye den ehinta but in the actual sense no within the occult practice no ye omu chichem bebre ye fa all the spiritual paths ye benya ni nyina bi ye den ewom sa de we ne ye kan the deceptivium about the occult system, you find the septivium, you the trivium and then the quadrivium. You cut trivium, I didn't make a say, Basadi and using your school, no. In Tiama using your school, and I say your occultism and your occult practice. You cut trivium, your grammar, your rhetorics, your dialectics. You cut quadrivium, then your arithmetic, your astronomy. Arithmetic, your astronomy, your music. And your geometry. So na we dey using your school dey bia unknown to you no occult systems they all evolve out of occult systems they all sciences and then imbiri be atwa na na hinta and then ye educational system bi mu na ye den yesua ma mbiri bi no na nipa kuma bi na ye den esua inti music a wotie yi so onya ti music ase abeti ase ne enti a ye den even in mantra meditation ye den ye recite certain tones or recite om or recite hue or recite say because understanding music will help you understand the frequencies of nature. Ati I say ye ka geometry which is the fixed shape of what of objects onya ti geometry ase abeti ase ne enti a cup we na ye den etie obeti ase ne enti a ring we na ye den etie obeti ase ne enti ade bi atwa ho bi ye den etine ye den etie ene ne ye den e ma sansunsanso ye den eba oso ne ye den eba we ne huhu ne sen
nti nyesa occult no mu moja na mo sene mu anu ayeko
debi ana me kama sem say ne onnim no ene debi impempi no ya me obi me ba no debi am ka sem kire me say me kote se na ya mpa me bi say o say anya bia ne okan ne wo he ada na wasem bi se bibisa nipa no okan se mo anye den wan kine nyina bisa ne say ma sem bi se nie ne mgoja nipa na si wona aba me ncha bibisa me say ne okan ne no kware ana debi ebia wo ne nti okan u bisa ne questions anka be bo nipa no so ma na yeden ati ase esua bibi ba waja ne so bibisa me na nipa na nka so okan no nka sa we ono nka sa na wo so bisa ko so nyo yeden nyo na aduane no eno nim ko fa so yeden enyan
okay inti do we have special people omo no mo betimi aka so mo ko join ni occult na obi a timi sori ko join ni bi keke
asem we be sabi special people I think within the system of the occult and now sisia wo kan secret society system na ken and now kind of practice
occult no
secret society so secret society in Yakadia everybody is allowed but there are certain conditions in place obayen die mu say yenye secret society per se but we operate along the same lines. You must be able to read and write. You must have the desire to help others when you need. You must be prepared to what? To practice, to prove whatever what you are taught. These are the basic things.
You must be able to practice, to
whatever
prove.
To prove, not just practice, not believe.
Just like what? Give me one example.
Anyways, Yakasha will say, Anyebeya Oda, O Assembly how, now person unya humuaya. Religious person, I said the non-mystical person, Bakacha will say, Eya bompa neda. Na yakupum beda nye diya eden, achiro. Ye better say there be the mind itself has its own what mechanism of what deducing and what and drawing what inspiration or what or information from the universe to assembly how na eche wo so a kwana kwa eden koda oda ansana benyane no unyanya ne the first idea about him no the answer to that thing kwana kwa ne hwe no kwa no prove eden ehu se wo ho ade a meken obi a ye bi da uye obi a uye panyi ada ade no ana no oyere na eti ana wo assembly eche wo so uye obi ada adwuma bia no a nyameka bon se de bia wo ho ade bia uyo panyi na so obi a waware mu a ubon sa bire bia asema che wo so no nya de da ade chen pepe no ene na asema eden about him ye bi de bia ba ye nim se ne ye de bia na ye de bia no ye nim se eye den eye yen kasa ye kra na ho adwuma na ye den ye no ti ye ba ye nim da ho ne ye den ye experience no. So we tell you, say, go and what and practice it. And how do you make this what unconscious activity what conscious? You can say something being conscious. It simply means what? The degree of your awareness. Maybe I can say consciousness means what? Awareness. No. The degree of the quality of your awareness. So you can still be conscious, but the quality of your consciousness will be low. The degree will still be low. So what degree of consciousness do you possess concerning the same thing? So how then do you grow in your awareness concerning what that thing? So how then do you become it? By you what? Living through that experience. And what? We always say this principle. With information, with knowledge, you have, but with experiencing, you become. Listen, with knowledge, you have, but with experience, you become that which is experienced. A baby abenya experience, be an yaw experience, and no bed, a baby, who he ansem, who he be and some iodine, when he had eho. The baby experience be bonny at the night, I about. So in experiencing, you become that which is experienced. So how then do you grow spiritually if you can't experience the thing you say?
That's it. Okay, so before now who so be a babontin say me your occult grandmaster na yasem kese. Me your occult senior na yasem kese. Now this thing is out. Look at you sitting here talking about it. What has changed?
I will say as some okay yampa you say so kisi afie de wi na say won ye den esan no. You see, some years back, it would be difficult for you to say an initiate, publicly even telling you, say, I'm an initiate of any mystical path. But what has changed today? In focus, they say, opinion or yeding, what number a shema of fire then, every nanka, yebu nanka for yeding, or can be. Now, people have taken the desire of people and a desire of seekers or strivers for this truth, no, and yet then ye do pure. Let's be real. And then Dana Miko Kumasi more than Chenwa. Because share my branch never home, my students never know. More than 1 year day a yibi. He said, "Me banner Casibia Boho say join the Illuminati courts, then to become rich, then no blood." I was like, when did this happen? And your home cry, you to be TV so. Member TV channels, you be the Facebook, you be YouTube, you be. It is a wow, unim quino, we are no quino. Who do you know how my way in out your a time will come, they will use them as a standard to judge you.
To be back out, then you preach the truth.
That is it, and that's the only way you can do it. Because over time, their system will be the system upon which they will judge all of us. So how then do you stay indoors? You need to come out and then speak it. Although it may be against certain principles, but time changes. Anyways, Freemasonry changed since the year 2006, when the news about Illuminati, Jay-Z, and all these hip-hop artists were joining Illuminati. When people started speaking ill of them, they changed the rules. Okay, now instead of a person to stay with us for 6 years before initiation happens, we are going to give it to them within the shortest time. But after initiation, you need to stay within 6 years before we start revealing any spiritual secret to you. Internet will be a Freemason. Yes, they accept anybody at all. But for you to have access to the knowledge, you are changing the system. Some person who be waba, utimu, then who yes you kunipa, when see you kunipa. Oba in a namely then chichingani yanum beer, and one year what you came to see, why they were. That is our system.
If you are able to stay, then we take you to the
if you are able to prove yourself worthy of the course. That's what the Master Yeshua said. If you want to be like me, carry your cross and what? Then follow me.
Enti say, who say, mushe, na mu say, nkrofo with social media, no TV, so I am grandmaster. And I'm too obi saying, I'm you be any, na me movie, na me call planes, na me fahana. I won't feel listen. Do you sometimes get furious or aggressive or angry?
Maybe some years back, it would have been painful. But with time, you just look at them and then smile and go your way. Only people who on the same frequency will be the ones to fall for that. But sometimes, if the person does not go through that, the person will then become awakened to the true course of life. Because on several occasions, what kind of quiet channel? No feel say me pesika. Why? Because we share Hollywood movie, we share Gollywood movie, we share Hollywood movies. And we say obi kodwani bibi or na yes china pe wenye ska bebre. So that's the intention they all come along with. Obi awo church na obi beji atum obeka who educating no de ni fam obi say na there are better ways of doing the same thing and you can enter obi on so be feel say umo na onya den unnim obeko e kan ani obede obeba. So what I can say is there's no supply without demand. It is what the people are demanding for. Say into munina the position of some beden on be supply mo no way do mo hwehwe. But over time bebre na say hu kwan den eba back. But be now be hu kwan eba back ma say ma bebre. That's the only thing we can say. But in everything as a spiritual student, we always uphold one thing. the law of cause and effect. Once it is bound to happen to you, it will happen to you. I can never overrun it in any way, shape, means or form. So sometimes we do not then wash it, nipa no then wako. Because we share baby ojina no kokakora nipa no nyeden entio. It will be also counsel then ubeka. But in whatever way it is, no, time will catch up with everybody. The one going there, the person also doing the same thing. Time will definitely will catch up with all of us. What you are so. Because the best spiritual student is the one who lives like the cat, not the dog.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. And I'm release you. And when you were talking, you were saying that maybe some said as students, and now we now say some of these same pastors, and I was also say, Omudi omu sunyadie, but omu di omu echinu no omu mpesa omu be sunyadie. When you see how religion is going in this country, what do you feel? What is that one thing you wish you could do?
The only thing I always wished I can do, I've always been one thing. Be able to reach out to the kids coming, not the older people. For any religion to thrive, Catholic bishopric, I will say statement be, for you to go through the system, which is the 9 to 11 years of the priesthood to become a Catholic priest, your training be a demo. You say, give me your child until your child is 9 years, and he will forever remain with me forever. Why? Because the early stages of a child, from the time of birth to the time of 9 years, no, the basic stages are then all building the mind of the child. Psychology will tell you that once a person is born, the mind is tabula rasa, an empty slate. So that is where you build the foundation of the child. So from that very ages, once the foundation is built, it becomes the program upon which each and everything in life will be played along with. So I always say I'd rather go to the kids, train them from there, so that with the base system right, everything will also fall in place. Now paying for the I dream way what can I say? You now dream way. Now dream way because system the training I had then ye tinti mu so chinchim na yeden akwa na lock the boat and na yeden abobom wo sane we yeden over 40 years of going through that same thinking. Do you think the person would take a day to change?
Easy.
So always want to go to the kids.
Udu motorway ho you told nephew was we slow down.
I tell you.
Okay, so now you see how the youth are anxious looking for spirituality. You are in this. But how the approach they give it, when you see some of them, what do you think? What can we do to help them?
The youth today are mixing up to so many things. And as I said, Nollywood has also programmed them in a certain way. The church has also programmed them in a certain way. And their own expectations are also driving them in a certain way. They are mixing up the spiritual path with with material attainments. Bebre na ba path no so dwen say ene me yes me gu nsana na ochina me dakem. Nto benya ne expectation. But let me be fair with you. Spirituality is not there to to deal with poverty. No. Spirituality is not there to deal with your poverty. No. It is there to to shape you to become better, and you becoming better, you can make the right decisions in life to to liberate yourself from poverty. But not to liberate poverty without you yourself transforming yourself. But unfortunately, it has become a matter of getting what I want without me transforming myself. It's quite a battle between these two things. To obaha no or stay ha or your libation or yes or so candle we hushia no sanko ha no yes to we catch yourself for 20 million bra meya ma no ko. I remember one time be me koye teachings be oh baby a society be no inviting me my lecture be and my lecture over 2 hours on numerology. Me and myself back panel members back ko catch me kan sin ya kire nyina betuma ya ma eno agiska na it's come on to Yameka, but I felt some way.
On pebre.
Like how I'm a trainer, me send yanka me, Adia minima me professional work, I made sick and I make send yanka benya first and what knowledge, any application. Or we actually becomes when you a bit my yama me agisikana. Imagine.
Bini.
So that's somewhat that's the level where we've got into. So the point is we want the path but we don't want the pain that comes along with it. We don't want the sacrifice that comes along with it. So that's what the youth of today is suffering from. We want the path, but not the sacrifice that comes along with it. Make a sacrifice. I mean, can't say koku mame, koku ugere. Me patch say, bibi abet my day. Ube come the process no. We don't want it. We want the short path. And most of the times we always confuse. Let me make this straight. Once we hear African spirituality, then it becomes a matter of bringing our problems all together and then finding some quicker solution to the problem. By naturality, do we have African spirituality? This is where even the major issue is. We have African spiritual culture, not African spirituality. Let me clear this up before we even get it wrong in so many ways, because we've always been getting it wrong. We have African spiritual culture and not African spirituality. Why? Because spirituality is an individual affair, not a collective affair. So if you tell me African spirituality, you're actually building a religion out of a system which is an individual contact with the divine. Here's the systems. You spoke about occultism. Occultism can be divided into three spheres. The first sphere is spirituality. The second is spiritism. The third is spiritualism. And then spiritual culture. Spirituality, as I said, is the individual, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional connection to the divine. Spiritism is the individual connecting with an outer spirit. Spiritualism is you connecting with the ghosts, the saints, the ancestors. These are the systems in here. So if you are going to deal with these systems, there are three separate things altogether. Most of the times we confuse this with that. The rules of spirituality is different from the rules of spiritism. The rules of spiritism is different from the rules of spiritualism. But unfortunately, because we hear spirituality, we tend to bring in everything into that same space. Now, should we even break them up further? We can then find the 7 liberal arts that I made mention of. Should we also divide them further? Then do we come to the stages of alchemy, libational ceremony? Then we come to the practice of mantra meditation or mantra yoga. We come to bhakti yoga, which is the system of worship. We come to the system of kriya yoga, raja yoga, which are the systems of of observing, fasting, seclusion, where you actually starve yourself. Oh, shall who come? Christians, the fasting is forced within the system of kriya yoga. I will show who come, suffer the body to be able to attain spiritual perfection. And that's what the yogis in India do. So, all these systems are there. Herbology, they are all within these systems. That's the leadership with herbs. We come to crystal, magic, which is the use of crystals. They are there. We come to aromatherapy, which is the use of aromas. They are there. All these systems are within the occult system. And they are not just one. So you can't occultism.
Is the name they give to it? No, you better.
That is it.
Hey, you are watching Revelations. My name is Maame Grace. Na mumfa Lord Acham, na Lord Acham, Lord Acham. You know why? You okay? No, na mudi jegu mitrisi. So me fan bro. Anyway, okay. Lord Acham, say everything you are telling us here is making sense. How many of your kind do we have in Ghana?
To be frank, I don't think I can be able to give a number per se. So long as we are all practicing, some are in public, some are in their privacy, I can't actually give a number. But all that I can say is we are in a time where those who are willing to come out are all coming out, just as myself. I'm not so unique. Others are also doing the same thing as myself. Others started long before myself. And after us, others will also take the baton and continue from there. But what I can say is, in as much as we are in an age today where the the knowledge is no more being kept secret, although there are certain aspects of it which are still kept secret. By being kept secret or no more kept secrets, but being opened up, we know so over time we also have the audience to pick it up from there. So with number, we can give a number. I know the others who are also operating like myself.
Like, are you a lot? Are you a lot?
With number, comparatively, with those who are not on the path, we can say we are few. But with those now on the path, I can also say we are still few. And with those on the path who are ready to teach, I will say, we are still few.
But we are still working on ourselves to get to the level. Okay, Mami Bisa, we know if you say your main topic in the soa. Mama, what touch base with almost everything you teach. So touch base with a little numerologist. what is that? When they say numerology, I mean to me,
numerology, which is from the word numeric, number, which falls under arithmetic of the cerebral arts, is simply defined as the occult science of nature, which is the hidden science of nature. So with numerology, it deals with how the number or the calculative system or the measurement system of our universe, the base system or the base vibration of these systems and how they affect us. Let me be fair. It's not by surprise that we chose the 9 cardinal numbers, which is from 1 to 9, and then the infinitive number, which is 0. We chose these numbers to be the foundation of what? Of our mathematical system. One thing you need to understand is that since the days of old, from the great mystical schools of old, one thing is certain, that within the universe, all the planets over here have their own vibrational frequencies, and in their order of hierarchy, they all possess certain oscillation, because certain oscillations are that repetition of themselves in their operativeness, and the now within these systems is what gave birth to the 9 basic systems, which are the 9 planetary influences. And these 9 planetary influences now operating through 7 spheres, which are the 7 doors of the 7 planetary influences. You making a patch then. You were 9 planets you use in numerology. The same way in mathematics, you want 9 basic numbers you see, which is numerology. You find the number 1. The number 1 is the sun. Number 1 in mathematics. You find the number 2. The number 2 is the moon. You find 3 is Jupiter. 4 is Uranus. 5 is Mercury. 6 is Venus. 7 is Neptune. 8 is Saturn. And 9 is Mars. These planetary influences, these were these are the sources of why we chose the 9 basic numbers for mathematics that we are using today in our Western world, or which even is used in our world today. So the mathematics we are even using today didn't come out as a result of Of people's curiosity. To deduce out of Out of the mystical or the occult. And from this occult system, did they deduce the basic calculations?
Mystery, I know you're a little bit comfortable. It's the same thing, same mystery, keke.
Anyways, it depends on the listener. I'll interchange these words.
Please, oh.
So I'll interchange these words. So these were the foundations upon which we even deduce a mathematical system. So whenever you are actually calling out your own telephone number, you're actually invoking certain energies within nature without you yourself knowing. So with numerology, it deals with which planetary vibrations are operating within every number system or every position within nature. Now, knowing these systems, you will know the operativeness of certain influences. Let's say 1 being for the sun and then 3 being for Jupiter. Should 1 and 3 come together, it will result in In a revolutionary energy, which is the number 4 frequency, which is Uranus. So wherever 3 and 1 comes together, or whenever there is a frequency of 1 and then 3 within every space, bear in mind there is a manifestation of the third principle. And the Bible back at
okay. So, we see one casa usi we have a friend I penny.
Anyways, so what the main fit to obedient one, Mister.
One casa we have a friend I penny.
Me who near patch any penny. A dear mu penny now, okay. And
Yammy Bow, baby, as Mammy woo we are penny and I have a friend. Oh, me for the Mister. Baby or crying I be a watch a crack. And your cran as a man call him in passing. What you will see when you mean? When you and I have a friend. Oh, Meninka crack. When you come, we are honey. In your British hoy 30 in one. Okay. I ask you people this because me wo kasana ma yedia me tie from the other side na aya me yet so proud and glad say we youth na we do that level say ye nya sa level yi be 100 ko gu parliament am ka tro ye bre na so atwa wan kasa wo si wo ye den na wo ye Africa wo ye den we are occult. We are the what are you? We are busumsumuni.
I am a spiritual scientist. Meaning, say me powerful. Paths na kanin na biwo. Me be in film.
Who you be in film?
Into buying hoa, you practice Buddhistic rituals, Hindu rituals, African spiritual system, or you buy your friend in your philosophy. You practice your philosophy. You practice Hinduism, Esoteric Christianity, Esoteric Islam, all these systems.
You practice African spirituality. Mo perform. Ugu ni sana oti akukoti. Itwa ujwan.
Be me ntwa moja wo me ho. Ene mo bia na me ye no. yen kwan so na yenam impempi na yetaka asem bi African system no eye mojetwa but nyente hu ni say oba African spiritual system ni mu a ahom na yede omode which is the spiritism aspect of African spiritual culture no ahom na ne omoye den eye adwuma no ye woni oji moja ane ye woni onji moja ba mpempi na no yen akonfo ne yabosonfo no mo fanche me enye se me kan denigratively ba yen akonfo ne ye mpanyinfo no impempi na homom kotuba no eye ne oyeden aji moja adentia ko ne aji moja na yeden eye contemporantem ba ne aji moja no so yeden ewo ho busum bi te se busum bi onji moja e bi te se pa kofi onji moja e bi te se ka echiri onji moja sa ya busum be bro onji moja ba esa ne say yen system ni mu no
yempebre
ni epania show intina mpempi ye de yekoji moja so over the years over centuries coming no in system na be more dominated by spirits that demand blood into ugina chaba twin say san system ne den etie ba owure mu aba se da bi enya honhom na den e wo yen pa afunu sunya na den eji moja ye woni oji moja enye woni den onji moja ye obi mpoko ade moja be na anhwe wo kwa tia no no benya asem ti obi akọ mpanyinfia na bosumfia da be hu ye obosum bi a ye twa moja ye de ko ha na bosum ye den esia ye ntwa moja wo nanim e kire wo se bueni nya den empe moja impem bi so be ko bosumfie no sa ne ompe moja no so ni panyin na wo moji moja na ye den e ne mba abosombrafo ba kwa ese yen system na kwa ese moja sem de bi ye wo moji moja ne ye wonu ye den
omo anka so mo mpebre because moja omo moji moja ne krapo no ni a obekwa ko demand no ene na ema wo be bisa akoko moja na ntwe moja na ba ye mpe wo so ko kire obi ade o se would your yema no ntu ya oka this is what's going on okay inti would your ho ne de omo enji moja would unye we inti wusi we fine say no wo kwa wo hye sa atare ni bia na we ya na o hye
atare be na aka ho asemi
de ya omo hye no you know what I'm talking about we are talking about African spirituality na me no na me ni bi kwa me pa Africa de
obi ane ne ofre no ne oyeden osman no me fie de mien hye sa intare ni bi obeka say ase yende ne ya te yende ho menka say fi oba bia bobi hu obeka say ase yende ya polish no ye polish ne ye obi obi ayeden efai na obi ayeden efre no oban yanka say mimi die mu a ye was so many spiritual masters ye ba yanka say ma African system e beka say ancestors yana no mani omo ye de enante na medi kan kire say yana no mani omo nante ye de enji moja e bi ni ka kire eyeden an Ashanti priestess about 300 years ago who was able to attain what spiritual perfection as so a saint ye beka na kasem so a saint na mo ye de obwa ka echire wo ho ye wo pa kofi e wo subontin kwabna ye de ceremony no so ye de attain spiritual perfection we system into multi ascended masters a mesere mo enya abrofo na die nkwa na ascended masters wo mo ye ndie mu se bi wo
na ye ndie mbo mu din
sesa
tie wo we mu nyina wa
ye wa kusika o mu nyina ya ascended masters o mo ye system mo so mo nam no
why do you people like female goddess? Why do you like female spirits?
I don't think it's a matter of me liking female spirits. Because about my system, you make me catch your bar. Akusika your bar. By a cup of coffee, a bema. Mesubontu cabana bema. Intending na female spirits. But near when they say, be a danny panna or eden, or use no eden, or use those female spirits. But by a hand my head, the fra, send a midi can be kind of. Yet the fra.
Or do you call them or they come by themselves?
Nyobe baba ni also friends be den obefre edu bra edi enjumedi a wo meba na efa nipa so ba ese na hu sa akomesi obi so no yes edu won so akom ye wo so me den o me mediums akom ye den efa mo so ye den eba
nti wa kom bi da
mi mo ndie na me se me ameda no me koma na me koma na he na kirem
nti wo de onkom bi da
e da bi so me fa mo so na befa e bia me bra na me ye na twem
because me de me hu obi o yes anyama we anu hu ofa anu hu ti sei nda o nje mbisa questions bebre yo
sasa won say na me come asem say ya na nanu ka asem bi me be sisu bi o say konfu a owo nyansa no ono aben tie ne ye e kasa opa ko bisa konfu owo nyansa no aben e kire o say nyansa de be bata ade no na ye den e kire nipa ye den oye na nya tumi a okura me sense su biem konfu a owo nyansa no wayeden waben e kire okrampo se na nanam krampo no me do mo gi nyansa di esintumi na impempi no ano eya na sa sane ya present ye ho no eye kwan bi e bi mu fa so so ye den e brand yo mo ho okwan African system na ye training usane ma we nyina yes e kire how be brand yo ho obeye ho ni nyina wo ho and ma obi nka nkyerɛ wo sɛ nananam na ɛfrɛ me nyɛ nya nananam na ɛkyerɛ ne sɛ ɔnyɛ saa ɛyɛ bi mu branding just for them to what to stand out and be unique asas of the branding wom obu no ɔyɛ ne ho gidigidi yɛmfa obi te sɛ me obi nim ɔbɔfoɔ heja ɔyɛ ne brand ne ɛna ɔyɛ den ɔde set ne ho den apart ɛwɔ ne obi ayɛ den ɛyɛ oba music me obi ayɛ ne branding oba politics me obi ayɛ ne system saa na ba spiritual system obi ayɛ den ɛwɔ ne brand a ɔfa so yɛ den ɛyɛ ne ho sɛ na ɔbɛdanso yɛ den ɛwɔ ne mfɛfuom ɛwɔ yɛn de anim tɛnyɛ ne nyina de kyekyere bosom ne saa nneɛma na yɛ den ɛte saa ɛyɛ nsɛm bi yɛ ka de yɛ den ɛde kyekye yɛn wura kɛkɛ ba ɛnyɛ ne nyina na yɛ den ɛte saa nipa na ɔka on dress gentle ɔbɛ den ɔbɛ dress adan no to mean dress ɔbɛ dress gentle pa but ɔnyɛ ne saa cause wanyɛ ne saa nso a wɔyɛ den cause yɛn kasa yɛn system ni mu no yɛde yɛn hu na ɛtete yɛn bibini biara yɛde yɛn hu na ɛtete yɛn ebibifo yɛn culture ɛyɛ basically fear ɛno kwa na ama na easy say religion bɛ den ɛbɛgye ntin wɔ yɛn bere mu a ɛyɛ fear so yɛn spiritual system no since the days of old no ɛyɛ ehu na yɛde den yɛde tete hey men fon san ka we hey men nyɛ sɛ ehu na nto ba yɛn spiritual system no sɛ ehu na yɛ den ɛwɔ make up 5 years ago me started personal evangelism yes on African spirituality and I'm my cameras in team I'm moving from one spiritual center to the other one spiritual shrine to the other trying to educate them on how to modify certain things and make it what presentable have a philosophical standpoint ni ekɔ me ka kyerɛ tradre me copy o techman ye kɔtara try me kɛkɛ just because ono force what na no for so many years minimum I made them be ka kyɛ ne sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ yɛ de yɛ bɔ modern yɛ de siesie ne mem one pene we ni mentality yɛ de te and so sani pe ya software businessman politician be ko na akɔgye aduro politician be dress fine den internet say wo do to me dress fine asɛm no nie software e hye coat e dia so dem ontwa moja we say na so dem pepepe den internet say wa wo yɛ den wo yɛ no wo de power ne man no wo de ontumi nya bi ɛyɛ adwen ne ekura no emre bi bedu nyama besesa You are watching Revelation, so I am here with your Lord Acham. Wo ye ade we nyina bibi wo ho no ma obi wo se yesi michiwe mami nyese ujina obi bia ye intact de imom bibi ye intact ba nipa bia wo ne yawochi se ye nyina ye wo yan to fufuo ye nyina ye wo yan beto fufuo ba ye mu ahene di fufuo ye mu ahene di apese se wonchi bibi mpo wonpa anhya wo se chi bibi mpo na wankasa we de ye be kire wo se chi bibi anya no dia we de ye kan na meche nya me de me kan sama kosi asem so so wonpa kan kire wa we de mpo be kire wo se den chi bibi ne mpesa me kire ne se wonam kwan we so a ye won niema bi ye wo so ye den uchi honhom ade na chi kwan ya wofa so niema wo ye e be kire ne bi ye wo so ye den wo ye ene niema bi ni se wo ye den wo ye e na de bira mu so mbra ye den e wo inti mbrane e wo ho nko ade enye den ebe ye den ebetua bibi cause e bia wo pe nsanom mbran so kire se me den me no nsa inti automatically no wachiwade aye den akoda ne nsa eye mbra anada ne ye den abeda ne wachiwade sa na tie mbra na beda ne wachiwade enu nti na ya obi se ye me pese meni bie na me nya den na me se okay me share na muza ne boys ye 3 and I'm see jai mema no jai meat ni ade di for now say hey and you mean to me oh ebe di yo ade na as you grow no one kasa body ni mpo be reject certain things that is it person woni obi mpo benya issues that is nyini e spirituality mu no eno ene ye ka ho asemi enti sesia no looking at spirituality enam di kan no aya ye we ni aya de hwe we believe that we are spiritual at say or you say or wabejina TV so why you say so obi yi practice spirituality na asori ni so hu ni say or ye bronsam ana bibi me pese aha no u differentiate spirituality any ankorankore the way ehia say wo yo nipa nko ade a wo nko spirit biti wo mu ese wo nko na uguru mi wade like I want you to educate the public that you must understand that you own yourself before you have other things or other people inti here say obia be guru mi ono ankasa ni individual personal spirit medase on say kwan way so person nanti kwan so nanti ni year there were 2 systems there were the karmic system and there were the self-induced system the karmic system na And they say, we will go through all the cycles of birth and death, or the wheel of samsara, or the wheel of our gawan, in and out, throughout. At every stage, biano, usunya bibi, I build up what's karmic self, and as I build up what's uso force. And ye 1 year, we be subjectable to abraboya woman say then, share why bibi then, achieve bibi then, ewa. Now, say, Cassie be near. We go through the medium path, and as we go through the normal path of reincarnation or the liberation through reincarnation. E be then men fo be ade. Men we ade. Men fo be ade. Men dia trunchro bi. Se wo ade a anase wo ye den che ade, mame kan say che ade. Men dwin obi ho adwen bone. Ade bia ye bia dwen ni pe di wachi ene ni pe twa nwohia nsunsun so ebe den ebe nyo so dwen kwan abede bia be fa so aye den ho be ban fa so aye den amanipa. These basic principles alone, that is being of service to others, is enough to liberate you. Nemo that system when enya system a se na ye bi mo ka say menya te die menya se ma call we eno nya sa na me de sa na ma ne be brew but one hwe ne abadwen say enya part of your soul what development. A part of your soul development. But this benefit, no, it doesn't come through these systems and a self-induced or forceful system, but it goes through your own incarnation. The more now we incarnate our coba now we practice this way in now gradually what liberating what itself, not liberating bit by bit. It will take you what certain lifespans or certain what births and deaths, but at the end no better by achieve that liberation and yeah 1 year we best also. Say, me faste, me chante, me ka chant na repetition. That's mantra yoga. Me recite, me chante mantra yoga. Me chante certain holy names of what of God. Me dware haban, me ye haban, me ye meditation. Me ye say. Aboa ma den, me kra no so ye den etu mpon. Ehwo ate. Eno no so ye den eye kwan ye fa so ye den eye. With that no, bear in mind say you are squeezing all the experiences. I was saying, FM with what? With your birth and death, and I say with your life path, no, and with your soul's evolutionary path, no. Who squeezing in your head? And get better one life more than achieving in a. When you tears, you bet tears in the inter most of the spiritual gurus, no, on my life they always meet challenges. Someone like the master of Planet Society of Ghana. I've forgotten the name. Sisi, I said, make I say, Diniba Mecca. He was a very powerful man. But here's the case: this man, with cancer, stomach ulcer, brain tumor. Say, na holy person or then, Sanyama way then, air canon. No, because say why then? What subject no say within this life? What time? No,
make corrections.
Make corrections. No, you must face all the consequences so that you can what? You can pay off all the karmic debts and then what? And then be liberated. Master Vivekananda, the same thing. Srila Prabhupada, the Obeti Krishna movement, he also died of cancer, poisoning, so and so. Because na gurus not born way then, no. When the Bible beka say me, so boneto or hotel for me then, me mbuna bonfia, and I said the man can once and bonnet. Meaning say once you are what intended on following this path, no, all your karma must be squeezed into one life for you to what? For you to face it. Into us who hear all these austerities, no, you're also paying off what? The karma. Way into the map with the Hindu or another Vedic path, which is the Eastern path, no, where then almost a secludium from day-to-day activities, no, and actually be poor, actually be a distraction behind then ember, why then what none of then ashen who so then apparatus
to me a correcting yama.
On for or yet then encounter na other karmas behind then I created. On for a baby yeden, embecount, your opera on for followers in yeden, embecount, on for Juma yeden, embecount, or no concentrate, on in care, further karma, with my then liberating the whole yeden from near then, Ewahon, with my achieve what liberation as samadhi. Into no a 2 paths. It has said, we will go through the moral system of doing the right thing, not thinking evil, not killing, which are the 10 commandments by anyways. Others will say 10 commandments, and it doesn't make sense. Who told you? Oh, yeah, Mr. Capes, realize that the 10 commandments what is the law of what? Of the individual self. Is the etheric what? Is the etheric law. The law of the iota, which is the I conscious self within. And the I is what? Is the number 1. Anyways, the 10 commandments, once you follow and also follow other principles of what? Of other systems, over the Kemetic system, where we have the 42 laws of math, and also the 42 confessions, and all these things are there. Once you follow these systems, you're also gradually evolving your soul. That development, you can't achieve it what? In one lifetime. But in your birth, subsequent what? Birth and death, now where then who go through the same what? Procedure. In the end, you achieve liberation. You also within one lifetime, also where then ever achieve liberation. In all, these are the two paths which we can actually what? Categorize them into for our own use.
Conversation is do you know people hate to hear the word reincarnation?
I think maybe with my people I've met, only few people have also more problem. Maybe with me. Because sometimes how reincarnation is presented, I think that's where the problem comes from. Because for reincarnation to make sense, it must be employed in all the three aspects of the individual, which is the mental, spiritual, and then the physical. Once reincarnation is only taught on the spiritual, it would make sense in any way. So every true teacher will make sure he teaches reincarnation of what? On all of these three spheres of the individual self, which is a triangle. When you have triangle, the ancient Egyptians made the pyramid. That monument was not there to just connect energy from the universe or portals that we are seeing. It was a concretized what? Symbol of a philosophy of society in which every society must follow that system to be able to attain liberation. So every societal system is based on these three systems, the same way with the individual self, which are the three basic mothers: the physical, the mental, the spiritual. That's what makes you, me, and everybody around us. Once you fail this system, everything will also fail. So if there's reincarnation, then reincarnation does not only happen on the spiritual, because we don't live only on the spiritual in this what? On this earth. We also live on the mental. We also live on the physical. And once the mental is conjuncted with the material, then is the emotional self-born, which becomes the fourth mother or the fourth birth. So then the physical, mental, emotional, and then the spiritual. Once reincarnation is taught on these three platforms, it will then become what? It then what makes sense
to people.
And how is this done? Sometimes nebufoni you say, na me wuko na me baya, and me ba ne sen, aden na me nye the same person. Aden na me hu machi, aden na me nye yi. But let me tell you one thing. Everything within nature must comply with the law of nature. You can never forgo the laws of nature to make what? To make anything within the nature. For anything to happen within nature, it must conform to the laws of nature to be able to what? Manifest within nature. So you can never forgo the law to be able to what? Maintain the law. So we can ask them, yentwa ejana sem ho anye bibi biara. I'm only trying to use the Bible because Bible na bebre na nim, and the Bible is what? It's a mystical book. Bible na say na de be. Anyways, what is the law? You have to say, Sisi ya Kwame Nkrumah or Kansembi. Kwame Nkrumah onimdia wanti asibi den or the chichiri. Ghana. Or show him the den edigu book baby maybe ni consciences mo kan bia be hu nsem bebre de efa Kwame Nkrumah ho. So wo kan Kwame Nkrumah ho ma na the ideologies, which is his mind. Ubaya inclined towards that ideology, and you live your life by that ideology. Has his mind been born in you? His mind has been born in you.
Yes.
His mind has been reincarnated, taking the form as you. But once we don't see reincarnation on that platform, we don't get to understand what reincarnation is. Why is it that when you give birth to a newborn baby, the baby carries what? The genes and the DNA of the mother and father? Are they? Because once you give birth to what? The physical aspect of yourself must also be reborn within the physical form. That's complying to the laws of nature in the physical.
Okay, yes, I have 2 minutes. Now, baby, wait, this question is important. I will ask you about Revelation in our next episode. I'm asking this one. You, as a spiritual person, you know how powerful Africans are, or blacks are. When you look at what has happened to our minds or our mindset, how do you feel?
I wouldn't say feel bad. I can never feel bad. I wouldn't say I feel good. I can also not feel good. I only see that it is the course of nature taking its course. It is something which is bound to happen, and it is happening. You only need to actually understand what is happening, and then know how to also navigate through whatever is happening to ourselves. And if we think of what is happening to us and how to navigate through it, then the first thing would be the primordial system that existed before the coming of the Western man, which is our culture. Because I say, but if there's anything to be changed, with the people. It is the culture. Bear in mind, religion is a culture, but there was a pre-existing culture within which we are born in. Religion didn't teach you how to speak Twi. Twi is already part of your culture. When we say culture, it's a way of life of a people, and language is a culture. Your food is a culture.
Your way of dressing.
Your way of dressing is a culture, which is your fashion is a culture.
Your worship.
Your worship is a culture. Everything around you is a culture. So once we begin, and you say your Twi Bible, and then you Twi Bible, or culture influence even the Bible to be translated into Twi. Into Twi means seven and the actual Bible name. Yanka Twi, that is your culture. And your Bible never fufuni benkudi. Edasudi. Our culture is still here. So our culture has still existed through all these all these exotic systems being brought to us. So if there's any change, if there's anything that has influenced our thinking, it is first the culture which pre-existed before anything came in. So if there's anything that programmed our mindset, it is the culture. As I told you, I've been to all the religions, and I tell you, it is not the religion that has corrupted us. It is the mindset of the African, which is even corrupting everything that we even meet in life.
Be Maame Grace and sign off. Say something small about revelations and sign off, because you have consumed all the time.
Anyways, revelations.
Here.
Revelations. Keep watching Revelations. Anyways, my name is Lord Acham, Rebecca. Keep watching Revelations. There are a lot of stuff on this very platform. I heard of it. I followed a little before being here, and I'm Benyaji. And I'm also enjoying, I'm really happy for that. I'm Spiritual Science, I'm Lord Acham, Rebecca, founder, Spiritual Science Society, Africa. Thank you.
Yo, thank you for watching Revelations. At the same time next week, Maame Grace will come your way with another episode. Shalom, peace.
This program is fully sponsored by Global Eagle Revival Outreach Ministries, a not-for-profit organization. To support our broadcast to reach others like you, kindly send support to Zenith Bank, Ghana, account number 6012402066, account name Global Eagle Revival Outreach Ministries, La Trade Fair Branch, Burma Camp. Mobile money account, merchant 0544 859 007. Name Global Eagle Revival Outreach Ministry. Reference Revelations or TWMG. Time with Maame Grace.